Oh man, did you hear about the I want to use the word treaty, but that's not it. Um, the agreement between several states for presidential elections.
No, what happened?
Apparently, states like California, Colorado, places like that are trying to do away with the electoral college for the popular vote. No, so what I was saying was, if there comes like the next presidential election or something, something along those lines, if the president wins based on the electoral college rather than the popular vote, the states that are voting for the president based on the electoral college will switch over to the popular vote for their.
Wait a minute.
I see what you're going for. I
There
don't think
was
that's
a
the way.
phone. That is not Dewey.
Does that make sense? Like, they, they're planning to do an agreement
Yeah,
to change their
they're
vote.
gonna try to go by. Yeah, but how is that fair?
It's not.
Like I literally I looked up the numbers the other day, and it's like California has, like, if what is it? If like the San Bernardino Valley votes for, you know what I mean, one person, they've already won the election.
Yeah. That's why we don't select the president based on the popular vote, because big cities like California and New York would determine the president every election.
That's what it was. It was like New York and California decided on this person. That would be the president every time.
Yep.
But then again, what kind of scares me is New York voted on Ocasio-Cortez or Cortez or whatever the hell.
Yeah, but that's just
Cortez.
she
Wait,
won
where are we
really.
going?
I'm just following the line
To where?
to the side mission for Huan, Hugh, Heather, Lou, whoever.
I don't even know where you're going.
Will you just follow me?
Sure, now that you're way the hell up there.
What are you doing?
Looking at the map, getting lost.
Why are you not just following?
Because I was looking at the map trying to figure out where the hell we were going.
Side mission, south of the base of operations.
Alright, 1 second. Because now I have a map marker going in some weird direction. And it's still... Oh my god. There we go. Now we're good to go. Let's roll.
Politics is a dirty game.
It is. And I'm wondering how many of these politics would really keep trying to play if,
If what?
if it went back to being a public service.
Depends on how powerful their word is. Like, even if it's a public service and you get to make the rules, like, why not?
Well, see, that's why it needs to, it really needs to go back to term limits and public service. You know what I mean? All these people that have been here for, been in office for 25 years, and it's like, really? There's a red over there.
I like Trump's idea about making, what are they, like, executive decisions type deals, like you put a law in, like, two have to come out type deal.
Yeah. See, that, I never really understood that, though. Because it was like, so I make, this law, and then...
So you're unsure of how moving to whatever for one law type deal?
So what usually tends to happen is you have I don't know. It seems to me like that ends up putting people in a position where they're putting two completely unrelated laws together for no reason other than, I have to take 3 out or 2 out to get my, to put 1 in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but in a small government type of way, like, think of how it works out, and the stuff you can go back and fix because, people were ridiculous 50 years ago. Like, those stupid laws like, oh, do not mow your lawn on a Tuesday after 4 because plaid. And at a certain point, you'll get to a point where you have to make a decision whether what you want to put in is worth what's going to be taken out.
No, because I see, and I've looked through laws where it's like, Part A, subsection whatever is about, open carry, okay? So, like, it's, you're still back there, aren't you? Well, subsection A is like open carry and where thou shalt not carry a gun. But then part B is, or subsection 2 is, there's another...
I do see what you're saying, to where unrelated things end up getting put onto, other rules and laws and things.
Exactly. So you end up with that, but at the same time, what really needs to stop happening is like the lobbying. And I'm not sure if that's the correct word, but there's these... I was literally watching a video on this dude. He had this pass. Okay, now with this pass, he could do... I didn't know there was going to be dialogue.
You had me so goddamn worried. Where are you? Are you safe?
I, kind of forgot the radio back at the apartment. But I'm okay. I had to bust my guitar over some guy's head, though.
You what? No, never mind. Now listen, Heather, I'm sending an escort to bring you in safely. You stay right where you are, and do not move.
Jeez, you guys are quick. Can I get out of here now?
As for you, Agent, this means a lot to me. An awful lot. I'll send a JTF patrol to bring her back, but let's just say that I owe you one. A big one.
Yeah, you do.
I can't thank you enough. I'll be in touch. Lau out.
Yep, he did. Yeah, so the dude had like a journalist pass or whatever level of access the actual
he had, like,
Congress
this...
people had, and the security wouldn't let him in because they were meeting with big business people.
Exactly. Did I say all that, or have I told you that story before?
No, I'm just familiar with the story.
But either way, you know what I mean? These people are getting laws changed that'll give them, what's probably millions of dollars. If that does happen and they can prove it, I'm a firm believer that money should be taken from them and on top of that, put right back into the economy to handle some of this debt we're accruing, from whatever means.
I also hate the fact that not only do we have debt, we have deficit. That eventually turns into more debt. Like, we can't even get the yearly budget to work, let alone stuff we still owe. But, you know, people want more programs.
Well, see, that's the problem. People want more programs, and they want this, and they want that. And at some point, they're not understanding the money comes from somewhere.
Yeah, the people. And you got a bunch of people,
You know,
you got a bunch of people who, not just as a vague generalization, on the left, or more left-leaning, it's where they're like, oh, well, we can just use the 1% or the top 10% and just tax them, and that'll cover it. And it's like, no, if you try to tax someone more than the fair share, because even if you do a small percentage on a large amount, it's still a large amount. Eventually, the more you try to tax them, they're just going to leave. Like, why are you going to stick around someplace that is penalizing you?
New York.
Dude, where are you going?
Me?
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna run around this building until I found the entrance.
8th Avenue. 8th Avenue.
That's where I was. I swear to God, that's where I was. And it was just like, nope, no entrance. This is what happens when I try to talk and game.
Your sense of direction is terrible. Just terrible.
Indeed.
The
Warning. Now leaving the safe area.
No, I believe there's a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed, and no one's trying to fix it. Because they're more worried about the next thing rather than what's already broken.
Well, see, and I don't want to take sides on a video where it's, you know, it's not supposed to be political, but at the same time, a lot of the stuff that you know, our commander in Cheeto is trying to do, it's that's what I want to do. A lot of stuff is just, we're not going to do it because Orange Man bad.
True.
And, you know, somebody was trying to debate the whole wall thing with me. And this I thought was funny, because the real, at least my argument was, okay, so it's $8 million to secure the southern border.
I think it's more than that.
So, I want to say he said $8 billion or something. For at least that first section. He needed $8 billion in funding.
Yeah.
Now, whether that's the whole thing or whether it's to get it started.
I think it's going to cost more than
My
that.
thought is, but okay, $100 billion. It's still not, you know what I mean? It's still an amount. It's a feasible amount. But how do you put a price on, you know, essentially the entire California, you know, border? How do you... Where the hell are we going? What are we doing? Oh, that...
We can
Back
do
to that safe house?
Why would we go back to the safe house?
I don't know, because it's telling me to go back to the safe house and there's a thing set there.
Oh man, it says...
I don't know what we're doing, man.
Yeah, it does say side mission, so apparently there was someone we had to talk to, but I didn't see the person. No, there's a locker here you gotta open.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's just this dude standing in the way. Just push past him.
But essentially, the drugs that aren't, you know, coming through.
You don't want to go this way. Other way.
Yeah, the other way.
Yeah, like
The drugs that are coming through the desert, through the all those different ways.
I don't.
That's what would stop.
Some of it. Some of it. But then again,
I'll give you that, some of it.
But has anyone thought of the, the domino effect, the cascading? Because if you can stop some of the drugs from coming through, that means some people aren't using the drugs, or there's not as many drugs to use, right? So
Yeah.
because there's not as many drugs there, people aren't getting hooked on the drugs, meaning people aren't getting arrested for the drugs, meaning the state doesn't have to shell out money to arrest them and imprison them for the drugs, meaning we just save some money. And it always turns out towards like something along the lines of like $50,000 per person per year in a federal prison system, give or take a little bit.
But see, and I don't know the exact amount. I don't want to lie. I don't want to be that person, fluffing up numbers to make it seem better. But I want to say it was like, what the hell was it? It was like a couple pounds of fentanyl that were stopped at the border recently. You know what I mean? This was, and I'm going to say 3 months ago, but
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
they did the math. The fentanyl would have been enough to kill 1 million people if divided perfectly even, again, you know what I mean? Perfectly evenly among the population. For those of you who don't know, and for you if you don't, when you hear these stories about cops touching drugs with their bare hands, and then they almost instantly go into an overdose situation, that's fentanyl. That's the stuff that's killing, people and officers and this and that. And they stopped. And I'm going to have to, put it in the description and Google it again or something. But it's some crazy amount. I don't like drug users, you know what I mean, in the sense of crackheads or cokeheads or whatever, because they, you know what I mean. I've heard too many horror stories about people getting hurt by them. So it's like I don't know, to hear, there's drugs killing, drug users. Okay, yeah, whatever, but I guess it's still kind of sad, you know what I mean?
Yep.
You don't ever want to hear about anybody losing life, but they did choose to be drug users.
Well, I mean,
They knew the risk of it's like drinking moonshine. You know what I mean? There's a chance that if somebody doesn't, run off the first gallon of moonshine or pint of moonshine, no expert in moonshining, sorry.
Yeah, like the whole going
What
blind
the hell I
thing.
got into? Yeah, exactly. It can kill you, hurt you, whatever. Green guy. So, you know what I mean? With crack and coke and meth, I assume, same thing.
Yeah.
There's always a chance that it can kill you. I've heard horror stories of people's, we're not going that way, right? Or are we going that way?
Apparently we're going down here.
Pretty sure this is the same one.
Why? Why is it sending us here? Yeah. But going back to the actual wall itself, somebody said, and I can't quote, but it's like the wall won't work, right? So I feel
It's a locker over here.
Okay. Not that we know what we're looking for. But
Yep.
in the same sense to where they say it won't work, I'm pretty sure there's people out there, let's just say who want to cross a border. If there was a wall, it would probably deter them because they're going to go, oh, well, I'm going to have to walk or drive or travel for so many days through a desert with little water or little resources. And then it's possible that I could get there and there'd be a giant wall in my way. to where you get to the point to where the only access you now have is through a point of entry, like you should be going to in the first place, to try to claim.
Well, see, there's.
Go ahead.
You are now leaving the safe area.
Well, see, my whole thought is, let's say, it's a deterrent. Even it there. And again, back to the whole media thing. The media will show you. I'm seeing red, and I don't know where.
No. What we want to do is head north to the Michael Dufrane Party of 1. Dufrane.
Data scanned.
Dufrane Party of 2.
The medical staff
Dufrane Party of 2.
We're dangerously low
They'll
on
just go
basic
right over your
supplies
name, be like,
painkillers.
Bush
So I've
Party
got a
of 2.
plan B here. There's a
No,
nurse
what
in
happened to the Dufranes?
He's got a reputation for knowing where to find hard
I will
stuff.
not eat while the Dufranes are missing.
Who cares what I need? Normally, I wouldn't make his acquaintance again, but turns out he's a resource. He needs those meds.
No. But at the same time, I see the downsides of it too, because that's a lot of money you got to spend. That's a lot of resources you got to put into building the wall. That's.
It is, but if it cut even, what was it, half of the amount of money we spend on illegal immigrants, and I did the math to prove somebody wrong. Like, spite is the best motivator for me. Just to look back at somebody and be like, "Yeah, I fucking told you so." That is the biggest thing. But I did the math. Even the lowest, like, Trump said 45 billion or 45 million or something. You know what I mean? Some ungodly amount. And somebody went back and was like, no, that's not it. It's more like million. Gina Esteban. Oh, wait, where'd you go?
No, apparently I got caught up in this Gina Esteban thing. Because, the map isn't that helpful all the time.
No.
I also wonder why it's so bad to just have someone go to a point of entry to actually access the country. Like, why is this such a bad thing to say? Know what I mean?
Well, that's because they feel they may be turned away.
Well,
And that's what I don't understand. If they're pleading asylum or seeking asylum, it's like, and I don't know how the border works. I don't know if you can walk in and say whatever, show an ID and keep it moving. But they're trying to say that, well, they might be turned away, so they'd rather sneak across. It's like, yeah, but you're breaking the law and you're draining resources because of it.
well, yeah.
But I can't remember all the numbers. I'd have to look them up and figure everything out.
Usually carry that kind
But
We got water, we got food, we got batteries. Just bring me this stuff. It's all yours.
Okay, fine. Just meet me at the usual spot on West 39.
In its own way, we're not experts about any of this.
no, in no way are we experts. But I 20 minutes of Google searching out of spite is a hell of a motivator. But I did the math, and it would essentially pay for itself after, 5-6 years.
Possibly.
And I don't know if I ever finished the statement, but there's a portion of the border that they will not show you on the news, and it looks. Have you ever seen the beginning of Saving Private Ryan or, the first D-Day?
Yeah.
The metal square things that just keep people from loading armor onto the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing at the border. Keeps you from driving through.
So why won't they show it?
Because most people believe that there's a wall. Most people believe there's a fence. These, you can literally walk through them. Like me and you could just walk up there and be like, whoop, we're in Mexico. Whoop, we're back in the U.S.
You know, if we were to walk into Mexico, we would be arrested, possibly put in prison, and or deported.
Yeah.
Because it's illegal there to cross the border illegally.
Echo available for playback nearby.
It was just in the middle of the road.
Did you check the cars?
Not yet. I'll get there. Unit 4, we need you back in base. Gotta bring some IV back too.
Guards are on our way. We're moving out!
Shut up and listen. We can't deal here. Gardner Station near 8th Street exit. Meet me there.
But yeah, it's like this whole big thing that, you know, they don't really want to tell you. They don't really want to show you. It's just, you know, there's parts of the border where they were hoping that the desert was enough. You know, the desert and the landscape and the wildlife were enough to keep people from kind of trying to go through. And it just, you know...
Get off me! I gave you what you want.
Yeah, and we need a doctor too.
I mean, people have been traveling the desert since, like,
Hey, you got him? We're at the clinic already.
700 AD?
Yeah, I mean, dude, no, like the Aborigines in, search the area.
Well, I guess I'm thinking more of, like, for trade. Like, when the camel was... the word I want to use is domesticated, but I don't think that's it.
Am I missing something here?
Did you get the... Who's this dude?
I really appreciate that.
Somebody just needs some canned food.
There's gotta be something here. Okay, so back.
Get off me! I gave you what you want.
Yeah, and we need a doctor too.
I'm not a doctor! I'm a goddamn nurse!
Hey, you got him? We're at the clinic already.
Oh, Davis Walker. So they dragged this guy out of here. I'll run back down there.
Okay. On a lighter subject, Mr. Cosmic Hero.
See?
So let's say, you know, shit hit the fan. It's going down. It's going down. Complete, you know, Korean invasion or Russian invasion, whichever Red Dawn you like. I happen to like the remake as well. Behind me over on the bench.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
Bobby, I got through. Got some of the
What
pressure.
rifle do you
What
think
they
you
say?
would grab?
They said they don't know, but the whole...
Or what weapons or items do you think you would get? Like, if, you know what I mean? If what would you grab?
Ooh.
If you had, you know what I mean?
If I had time to prepare.
Yeah, let's say, you know, I don't know, there was, you could just, something in your gut told you that, you know, it was about to go down.
Okay. Well, based on just things that you readily have
Active echo beacon detected.
available, you know, definitely going to go with, you need a sidearm, you know, some sort of Glock or something along those lines. As for a rifle or something a little bit bigger with, you know, better range, something intimidating, I wouldn't mind something a little bit more old school, like one of those SKSs that you showed me the other day. Something like that would be lovely.
See, I could see that, but I'll kind of, I'm half and half on that one. But I'd love to hear your logic behind it.
Well,
why that?
My thought is, it's old, it's tested, it probably doesn't have too many moving parts because it's older. So
No, not at all.
I assume because it's older, it's a little less technical, which makes it a little bit easier. But it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, an SKS, just something of that, you know, M1, just something a little bit older to where it has rounds, I can use it, and, you know,
a decent capacity, and, you know.
Because I'd love to be like, hey, I'm gonna go with the AK-47, you know, never jams, but the one I'm thinking of,
Well,
don't have access to.
Well, see, I guess that comes into prepping, which I believe in prepping. I believe if you can do it without, I guess, jeopardizing bills, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? Don't go bankrupt trying to build you a shit hit the fan setup. Please don't do it. But how the hell did you get in that building?
I walked through the door.
Yeah, I'm about to blow one of those in the wall. Oh, hey, there was those windows gone.
Yeah. Is there?
Oh, thank God. I
Found
knew Canada would
him.
send someone to get me out of this shithole.
Good to know.
Okay, Dufrane, your table's ready.
Opportunists always do, don't they? And Lau says to send an escort for me, which is good because we're gonna have to keep an eye on him from now on. Just don't
God, I almost died.
I don't want to near him.
I'm pretty sure there's a few people who will get that. They're not gonna watch our video.
Hoping.
They're not gonna watch our video because they don't watch us, but they'll get it. When it comes to prepping, you got your basics like space blanket, water, knife.
Well, see, it all. And I was watching a guy who did a great breakdown of it, and he almost has two different bags. One bag is, it's going with him if he's going camping or backpacking or hiking, in case something goes wrong. We'll see, and so this guy, right? He's talking about there we go. Okay, this is some kind of weird thing. So essentially, he's got two different bags. One is, flares and mirror and a solar blanket or space blanket or whatever the hell they're called. And all these. Are you inside? What are you doing?
No, I'm running to the safe house.
Oh, so you left me back here to do all this different crap, and then...
What are you doing?
Dealing with these enemies.
Why is it always a sewer?
But, what was I saying? So this guy's got, like, two sets of, supplies. One he takes with him, it's essentially got all the same stuff. But, a few items to help him be noticed by, you know what I mean, other people. So essentially, flares and, stuff like that.
Yeah.
As of where his other kid has stuff that kind of helps him stay hidden, And it's supposedly the two, like So I don't know. Shit hits the fan. We both take off, and we hop in your car and we take off. Was there a locker somewhere?
No, just got to talk to the guy.
But yeah, he would have like one would be for we hop in the car, we wander into the woods, right? Because you're less likely to find people, and we can set up kind of a border or whatever. Okay, it's some hunting cabin in the woods.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, if we were hiding, waiting for, whatever was going on to blow over,
Cans.
see, we hit
Fishing line.
this encounter.
Which one?
We'll see. Okay, we might pack a couple cans, but if anything, we do canned food.
Well, yeah. 2 for 1. You get to eat the food, and then after you're done eating the food, you get to use the cans for tripwires.
Hey, get to cover, because these guys just walked up on us. We'd probably both pack a rifle, a handgun, holster, whatever. Knives, matches, lighters. But at the same time, if we're hiding out, we wouldn't really want a mirror to try to attract, whatever helicopter was flying over.
Yeah, but like a mirror has different purposes as well, because not only can you use the reflection of light to try to get attention, but at the same time could have hit me. You can use it for peeking around corners and stuff in urban environments, things like that.
Well, see, I guess that comes down to where are we going? Are we going to try to go to New York, where, honestly, it'd probably be the worst place to go?
Oh, it would. We'd get there and get arrested for having the guns, even in the apocalypse. As we play the Division
True.
in New York.
Yeah. What happened to gun control? Somebody's got explaining to do.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, we did kind of jump way over on this subject. But,
Something ain't right.
as far as the SKS, you do have a good idea as far as, old rifle, very robust, very durable, proven system. However, I don't know how much 7.62 is floating around the U.S.
I have no idea.
But see, my thought is on the whole survival rifle, shit hit the fan. Your best thing to do is try to find something that is essentially a civilian version of whatever your, whatever the military's, using. We're kind of walking away from the objective. So, for instance, oh, that's a homie. Oh, Lord. Apparently that's how you take out really tough people. Just melee them like 17 times.
A gun would be great for end of the apocalypse type of end of the world situation.
Go on.
The gun
This is Sparrow 2.
that the
We
media
are
has
on
made
site
their
and
enemy.
in position.
Oh, the AR-15.
Most def. I mean,
Well, see, the funny thing is,
Thanks for your help.
if
You
you...
don't know how bad we needed those supplies.
there's more bad guys.
1
in
second.
here.
Yeah, sorry. So if you, let's say, spent your money on a really nice upper receiver,
Yeah.
Nope, about to get blown up too. Oh Lord, well, they're all over the place. Spent your money on a really nice, really durable, upper receiver. Even if it was classified as a pistol, okay, so a 10-inch barrel, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
These cool, fun things. Did maybe a short stroke piston setup instead of the normal gas tube direct impingement setup, which I don't know if I want to get in depth into that, but every time you fire a bullet out of an AR-15, essentially what it does is the bullet goes forward. There's a small tube that runs along the barrel. Once the bullet goes past that point of the barrel, there's a hole, it pushes the gas up and back into the front of the bolt carrier group. The bolt carrier group comes back, and that ejects the round, and then a big spring pushes it forward. Put the bolt carrier group forward, which picks up your next one.
Yeah.
Direct impingement.
Yeah.
Now, instead of direct
we do not want to go in there. At least not yet.
don't want to go into there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was about to jump over to go, ooh, what's this? And that's the dark zone.
Okay. So with that being said, a short stroke piston would have the same kind of setup where it's, those are all homies. Bullet goes out, gas goes up, but instead of going through a tube into the front of the bolt carrier group, it pushes it up, gas up, and then pushes a rod back. So the gas is let out up front, and the rod pushes the bolt carrier group back. It keeps your chambers cleaner and lower temperatures. Or at lower temperatures.
Right.
It's just a better system, in my opinion. Somebody will probably argue, yes, it is more expensive, yes, it is heavier, but I believe it increases reliability.
Yeah. But
maybe somebody's got proof and can prove me wrong. You're more than welcome to argue with me in the comments. That's fine.
But overall, the AR-15 is pretty light to begin with, so the little bit of weight doesn't cause too much of an issue anyway.
Well, see, that all depends on how you build it, because I believe mine is, and I'm probably wrong, I want to say it was like 9 pounds.
Oh, there's some bad guys over
9 or 10 pounds. Ooh, enemies up there.
Let's go get them.
Now in comparison to I want to say it was 9 pounds. Probably wrong about it, but
And can't you use multiple ammo types with the AR-15?
Yes and no. What you might be thinking of is like if you have a 5.56 or a 223 wild barrel, you can use 5.56 or 223. It's essentially the same bullet but different pressures. 5.56 being a little higher pressure for the military versus 223 being lower pressure. However, if you build an AR-15, you know what I mean, you can chamber them in 9mm. I think they make 40, 45, 40 or 45. You know, there's all these new calibers that are coming out too. That thing is like, well, I don't even know if they're new. I've just never heard of them before. I guess they weren't as popular. But you've got, oh Lord, was it 300 Blackout's a new one, and that's essentially a 7.62, which is like an AK round, where they ground down the case and shoved it into a 223 case, or 5.56 case. So it's a bigger projectile going slower.
All hurts the same.
You've got. Oh yeah, I don't care what your AR is chambered in. I don't want to get fucking shot with it. Oh, it's at a 22. Still don't want to get fucking shot by it. But I mean, I guess if I had to pick the lesser of the evils, I'd pick a 22. But
depends. Can a 22 still will it give you a through and through?
Oh Lord, I have no idea. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. A 22 might hit you and bounce. You know what I mean? Like internally.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. I'd rather be shot with a blank. You'd still get the powder burn, but you know, I got Band-Aids. I don't care. I don't know. I feel like that's it for this video. But just to wrap up, if you built a really nice upper, okay, and you put it on your semi-auto lower, and let's say stuff hits the fan, okay? Let's just say zombie apocalypse for, you know what I mean, comedic purposes. So I go down to whatever outpost that they tell me, hey, go down here, it's safe, and it's been overrun, you know?
Yeah.
I look down and there's some standard mil-spec, you know, M4 that this guy is using. I can I can grab his plate carrier ammo, take that with me, it all works the same. On top of that, I can grab his rifle, and I now have spare parts, you know, if my rifle's better. Or I have a new rifle if my rifle's a piece of shit. Or I can even take my upper off because I've spent thousands of dollars with all these, you know, shiny, go fast, durable parts. And then I take his lower with his full auto sear and all its majesty. And I drop my upper onto it. As long as I've got a full auto, I can't think of the word, bolt carrier, I'm fine. It'll run full auto, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Now again, you know, this is zombie apocalypse, I gotta do what I gotta do to stay alive. And if the government can in fact sort it all out, yeah, I'm alright serving a couple years in jail, as long as I can, you know, go to jail and not be eaten, you know, bitten on the face by some zombie brains. Some zombie name brains.
I will say. Alright guys, so this has been a wonderful video, a very long video, and we're going to stop it here. So as we normally say, like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And yeah, that's it.
And as always, take it easy.